So right now it is so late, but I don't care. I felt compelled to make a video, and I'm gonna hold this really close to my mouth so you can hear what I'm saying. I need to be quiet because what did I say at the start? I don't know, I can't remember. But it is really late. But I feel the need to say something about how lately I've been living on autopilot because of this dementia, obviously. I've gone into such a weird stage now where it's like I'm not even aware that I have dementia. You can't really say that's a good thing. It's, for God's sake. Okay, it seems like I'm enjoying life more because I seem more carefree, but I'm not having highs and lows like I used to. And you might think that's like a bipolar thing. That's not a good thing, but experiencing that like depth of emotion and having everything feel so real, it was just a way better than now, like not being aware of anything and probably people thinking that I've got something wrong with me because I have no awareness whatsoever. But I've still got my behaviors from before, so I went from very, very reserved, very, probably the most reserved person in all my classes. I didn't want to be, but that's just how I was, and I didn't understand why. Okay, to now being never feeling awkward anymore. I haven't felt awkward for ages. It's just that level of awareness has literally disappeared for me. So, social cues, I'm sure I won't understand anymore. This is all about like how other people perceive me, but it is important how others perceive you to an extent. Okay, you still want a spouse at the end of the day. If you don't, then that's fine. I guess just be whatever you want. Yeah, that level of awkwardness you feel when you meet someone new, I don't have that anymore. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'll act like I do, but I just like don't. I think my behaviors from before, from when I had awareness, are still present, right? But I just don't. I can't describe it. I feel like I have described it. So just trying to extract some meaning from what I'm trying to say because I don't even know what I'm trying to say. So, friends will laugh at the things I say, but I don't really care. I don't really care if I make people laugh anymore because I know everything I say is just from the part of my brain that is keeping me going that I'm not aware of. What I mean is, I have brain functions still going to do with being social and spatial awareness that I can't access. But it's happening in the background, making sure I say the right thing, but I'm not in control of what I say. And it's really fucking scary. I mean, it is sometimes. I sometimes realise that, oh my god, this is so bad. But even now, I can't even come to that realisation. For some reason, it feels like I've been talking for ages, but I haven't been. And I just can't sleep. Because I realise now that I live in my imagination. It's so sad that the only way I get to have a future is by imagining it right now. So, call it false happiness, right? But when I imagine a future with someone, I get really happy. And this person, I'll have like a placeholder for him of like a fictional character. Okay, fine. I'm just a teenage girl. Let me be. But it just makes me happy to think about a future like that. And if it makes me happy and I've got no brain left, then just just let me, right? If I told this to a psychologist, they probably think it's unhealthy, but if I've got no future, this is the next best thing. Living in my imagination, pretending I can live in the life I want, because imagination has always been very vivid. And the weird thing is, I find that when I'm coming up with these scenarios, getting home to kids and stuff and cooking, I don't mind doing that. What's funny is I'm not even controlling what I do in these scenarios anymore. I used to be like, okay, I've got a clear scene in my head, I'm gonna act it out in my head, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna do that. But now I let it play, and I can't even control what I do in my imagination. It's crazy. It's like I can still imagine objects. I've noticed that even in my dreams, my brain gets confused with objects, because dreams don't make sense. But it's hard to explain. It's actually very hard to explain everything about my dementia. To someone who doesn't have it, it just sounds like I'm being a whiny little bitch and complaining about nothing. Because what I had before, what I've lost, isn't what the normal person typically starts off with anyway. So they wouldn't believe me when I say I used to be able to feel objects in the room. I used to be I could just read people's minds. They just think, you weren't that special, you weren't that bloody special. And then when I say things like, I forgot why I went into the room, they say, oh, I do that too, it's fine, you haven't got dementia. I'm mainly talking about my parents. I know they don't have that accent. It's just like, yeah, you do that, but compared to my brain before, I was doing calculations every millisecond. I always knew what I was doing. I would never ever walk into a room and not know what I was doing, never. But it's happening to me now because my brain has gotten so bad, right? This is what's really annoying. I've lost things that were so precious to me, to my thought process. Like a very vivid, not imagination, but like being able to see objects clearly, and I'm sure there's a name for that, like in my head. I've lost things that people can't even comprehend. That's what's annoying. Like, that is what's really annoying. I know I sound like I'm trying to sound different, and I think I was. Now I'm just average Joe. I mean, I don't even know what I am anymore. I'm half a brain. But just used to be such a different brain, and I didn't know why. But I can only appreciate it now. And I couldn't appreciate the cards I was dealt 4 years ago, because I say it because a lot, I know that. I've listened back to my videos and I realise I say because a lot. Because I can't remember what I was saying. This is why I have to speak fast, because if I go on a detour, which is never a good idea, in my explanations, I never come back. I don't know where I've gone to. I have this diary I keep. I've not been writing in it so much recently because I guess I have these videos. At least in that, if I lose track of what I'm writing, I can read back what I've already written and be like, oh, okay. But when I'm speaking, my words even my words go through one ear and out the other. Earlier, I did a voice recording for my friend. I listened back to it. I spoke fast, with precision, and it all made sense. And it was actually kind of funny. Objectively, okay. I mean, no, this is the problem. My brain gets confused about subjective, objective. Things like that, my brain gets confused with now. I never know which one to use. And people always correct me, like, you use that one. Well, I mean, yeah, they have a right to, but forgive a dementia patient for muddling up her words. And, I can't even remember okay, yeah, I think I do. Wait, the voice recording, yes. So I played that back to myself, and it took me about 5 plays for even me to grasp what I was saying. So this is proof that I know how to speak and sound normal, but when it's time to concentrate on something, listen, and try and interpret its meaning, I'm so bad now. It's really hard to describe how my brain was because I don't remember. Well, no, I do. But it had so many nuances to it. I know my family say that I wasn't that smart. And I wasn't, but I was smarter than them anyway. I mean, I was. I've actually thought they were way smarter than me. I thought anyone with a personality was way better than me, way smarter, because I sat in class sometimes and I wondered, why do I not have a personality? Why am I quiet? Why can't I say anything? Why do I not want to say anything? Why do I just want to sit here and plan my future and draw? That's all I want to do. But why is everyone else talking? That's what I didn't understand. When people wanted to talk about stuff like teachers, homework, tests, I hated it so much. So can't we talk about anything else? K-dramas, K-pop, please, anything. Because it was a grammar school, yeah, I know, it was a grammar school. So talk of the town was tests, because I bet their parents were beating them. No, okay, what am I saying? Their parents were very strict is what I'm saying, because it was a grammar school. So the talk was all about tests, and I hated it so much. Whenever someone asked me about a test, I would try and answer like jokingly, or try and change the conversation topic. And I would just get some weird looks, I don't know. Yeah, I remember this girl trying to like befriend me. I think she was in my biology or some science. And she wanted to talk about tests. She just caught up with me when I was walking to go to a lesson. She just started talking about tests. And I tried to avoid the conversation as much as I could. I just said a bunch of nothing sentences, I think. Like, oh, no, I didn't do it. Oh, that test sucked. And she was just like, oh, why am I even talking about this? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. By the way, whatever you think I sound like, I don't know how I sound. I don't know how I come off. I don't know if I sound mean or nice. I don't know anymore, okay? I don't know, I'm just pulling things out of my ass because I'm not capable of thinking through what I say anymore, so I'm genuinely sorry if I sound like an asshole. Because I don't know anymore. I don't know if you can call this freedom. Because my freedom was just being alone with my thoughts. Sounds great, you know. My nan says to me, don't think it's so bad for you. But that's all I do. Not now. But like, how could you ever switch off your brain? I mean, I can now, so I understand. But in the past, I could just never switch off my brain. Like, how could you do that? How can you not be thinking all the time? So yeah, I think the reason my dementia has gone so slow, I have a feeling it should have gone faster, but I think it's gone so slow because of the fact I'm always thinking, right? Always tracking what's going, what I've lost, and coming up with solutions. The only time my brain come up with a solution for a long time was probably around year 8, year 9. Year 9, dementia felt very real. I really felt it coming on. My maths was just so poor, my memory was getting worse. So that was when I was genuinely depressed. I'm not just saying that because I couldn't join in PE. I had to get a counsellor. I was just not with the world. I was just so upset. I couldn't speak to anybody. See, I can't even. What was I? What was I talking about before this? I can remember the topic right now, but not what I was talking about a minute ago. No, depression. Yes. When my brain couldn't figure out what to do, I like hibernated. I still had to go to school, but I was just so depressed, and I would just cry all the time. And teachers wouldn't understand. They would just think I was attention seeking or something. But I couldn't comprehend the fact that I'd probably die soon. It really got to me. Thoughts about dying, thoughts about no future, thoughts about not being able to get the results I want for GCSEs, not being able to do my art. Those were all keeping me from doing well in school. So I was so depressed for like a year. I felt like I couldn't do anything because why should I if I haven't got a future? And I'm actually surprised I didn't commit suicide. Like, I'm surprised. That's why this video is not for kids, I guess. I'm gonna mark it not for kids, for sure. None of these videos are for kids. But yeah, that was probably the worst year of my life. Just the thought of dying hit me a lot harder back then than it does now. I think it's because I lack awareness now. So accepting it just feels like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Like anything that happens, I'm like, sure, yeah, whatever. And that will become even more so. Even about serious things. So like a friend could get injured and in the future I'm just going to be like, oh yeah, okay. Not because I'm trying to be mean, but because I don't have awareness and I lack so much empathy because of the way my brain is going. And I can't control that. I do wonder though, if people look at me now and think, she has art skills, you know, she's lucky, she has a talent. You know, she's lucky because she seems happy a lot of the time. She's just focused on her work. Nice, you know, keeps her close friends close. But her enemies closer. Won't say have any enemies, really. Only myself. But yeah, I do wonder. Ow, my hip. Anyway, I do wonder if anyone has thought, you know, she's lucky. She seems so happy all the time. It's not fair. Maybe they haven't. Maybe no one gives a shit, and they think they're better than me. They are in intelligence, that's for sure. But you know, if anyone's ever thought that, just know that for a year I was depressed. I couldn't do anything. I thought I had no future, and I don't, but I've accepted it now. And some nights, still, I get back and cry. Not as much as before, but I'd say in my college, if there was a contest for who has cried the most in the past, I would win. That is, I think, one of the only competitions I could win at this point. Cry. Number one crier. That's me. That's me. I wish there was some way to know how many times you've cried, or like how many tears you've cried in a jar. Like, I wish I could see all the water that's come up my eyes. I have no knowledge for measurements anymore. I know, probably like a litre, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I've ugly cried before, ugly cried. And I've looked in the mirror and I haven't even recognised myself because my hair is wet from the tears. I've just cried that much. Mascara everywhere. My like puffy face, red eyes. I look like the I can't remember the name. The Grudge. No. Okay, you know that girl in a horror movie with hair all over her face and looks very pale. That's how I looked, but with a botched face. I just couldn't sleep, and this isn't gonna help me. But you know, maybe if I got all of my worries out, it would. So yeah, maybe that's why I couldn't sleep. I don't even want to apply to university. There's no point. It's actually too much work to do my personal statement and everything. That sounds like I'm being lazy, but I was never lazy. I am now, because I can't figure out how to do things. And I've just lost the drive. Dementia makes you lose drive. It does. I'm gonna sleep now. Okay, good night. Hope you have a good night tonight, because I will in a sec.